Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are all doing well. So on today's episode, we have a unique story for you guys here today. I want you guys to cast your mind back to the period in which Johnny was going through his court case, okay? Getting ran through or attempted to be run through by Miss Amber Turd. And if you will recall, he actually won that case. He did fairly well, all things considered. But it turns out after the trial, or maybe even during the trial for all we know, he actually ended up dating the divorce lawyer who represented him in court, apparently. Now, as you can see, we've got the woman here on the right, okay? Mr. Johnny here on the left. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, you know, good for Johnny and good for her. Well, it turns out that this woman actually had a husband and a family who she chose to ditch in favor of a potential, not even relationship, but just a fling with Johnny Depp. And guys, this is why we say over this side of the internet that hypergamy always wins, okay? We have here a woman, and we're going to be jumping into the story in a second here. We have here a girl who literally threw away her children, who threw away her husband. Now, I don't know how long the marriage was for. Maybe we'll find out in this article. But she threw away these things for a chance to be with a movie star. Now, this is a girl, by the way, who is not financially, you know, struggling. As far as I understand, she's got a couple $1 million home that her and her partner got together. She's a divorce lawyer representing celebrities, so how bad can it really be? So let's jump into this story here. But guys, before we do, just a bit of a quick announcement here to make. If you are interested in becoming a content curator to help with the production of the videos that you see here on the channel, guys, there will be a link in the pinned comments, so make sure that you check that out if you are interested. Just a bit of a warning on that though, guys. It does involve looking through an obscene amount of womanist garbage. But let's jump into this story here of Mr. Johnny Depp and the divorce lawyer. So I'm pretty sure her name is Joelle Rich. It says here, and as you can see, there's a photo of them too. It says, let's read the title. Johnny Depp and British lawyer Joelle Rich's romance might have already fizzled out, a source says. Let's jump into it. Johnny Depp's relationship with British lawyer Joelle Rich may have already come to an end, sources have said. It was revealed in September that the actor and the attorney who previously worked on his 2022 lawsuit, which he lost, were dating. Oh, excuse me. So this was the lawsuit that he lost, not the one with Miss Amber Turd. Rich wasn't representing Depp in his recent defamation trial against ex-wife Amber Turd, which he won, but she was in the Virginia courtroom to show her quote-unquote support at the time. Okay, so this woman was representing him in the 2022 case where, you know, it was a defamation case, I believe, where he got basically run under the bus. You know, a few movie deals were withdrawn from him. I believe he was no longer able to participate in Pirates of the Caribbean, which is incredibly sad, by the way, because people, as far as I understand, literally watched that series for him. Like, he literally made that movie franchise, that entire series, so I don't know what they were thinking there. Just complete error. But he lost that case, and that was the one that she represented him for, excuse me, not the latest one. But they've been having a fling since then, perhaps, interestingly enough. So let's get going. Rich wasn't representing him then. However, a friend of Depp has since said, are they still an item? We are not talking about a normal couple here. It's not a big, stable, committed love affair, and I'm not sure that it ever was, according to the Daily Mail. I don't know if they are together in any way at this point. Certainly, I don't believe it is a serious romantic relationship or even an exclusive one. The paper stated that there was no sign of Depp when Rich attended a family wedding in Ibiza last weekend. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second, guys. This woman threw away her family, you know, her husband, her kids, to have not even a serious romantic relationship, not even an exclusive relationship with Mr. Johnny Depp. Guys, women will share men who they view as, you know, the man. The guy who's working, who's living paycheck to paycheck. Hell, her husband, I believe, was actually doing well off. Like, she's an attorney, okay? So she's making good money. Chances are she wanted to date a guy who made more money, or at least marry one. So these people were not broke by any stretch of the imagination. They're not really living paycheck to paycheck, okay? And yet she still goes out here and tries to share a man, which is just way out of her league. Let's be honest. I don't know how old this woman is. Let's take a look at this picture here. I don't know, but like Johnny Depp could have some 21-year-old with a click of his fingers. Okay, and girls like this are like, man, I just wish, you know, I'll throw away everything that I built just for a shot at him. Absolutely disgusting stuff here, guys. Absolutely disgusting. The source added, firstly, he had just come out of a massive legal battle with ex-wife Amber Heard, so who would want to commit after that? It has been an extremely traumatic period for him. Secondly, he's Johnny Depp, and I don't think a standard committed relationship is going to be his thing. The paper claimed friends of Rich in London, UK had said her plans for a divorce from husband Jonathan are still progressing. So while she's in the process, literally, she's hooking up with Johnny Depp in a non-serious committed fashion while her plans for a divorce are still progressing. Guys, this is the hilarious part, and truthfully the saddest part of the story, is she doesn't care about the husband, man. He really doesn't. Okay, she probably doesn't even, if you're doing something like this, realistically, you don't even care about your kids either. Okay, you've just broken up your family unit, you know, for the chance of getting with this dude. You cannot sit there and convince me that you care about your children. You cannot sit there and convince me that you care about your husband. It is absolutely disgusting. We live in a society right now, guys, that literally incentivizes women to ruin their marriages and their families. Absolutely incentivizes them to do so. Now, this woman was like well off financially, but still the fact remains. Now, let's jump into the second article we have here, much the same, and see what it has to say. A new romance, Johnny Depp is dating lawyer Joel Rich, who represented him in his UK court case, blah, blah, blah. Their chemistry is off the charts, apparently. An insider exclusively tells us of the Pirates of the Caribbean star 59 and the attorney. It's serious between them. They are the real deal. You know, guys, I often see these Reddit stories, okay, where women will come along and be like, man, I thought he was going to commit to me. You know, like, why do guys keep on lying? I just can't seem to find an honest man. And a lot of this could be avoided if people simply stopped living in a stupid fantasy land, okay? Trying to lock down someone like Johnny Depp, trying to lock down men who are clearly out of your league, typically it is not going to work. Now, you know, women will hear that and go, oh, typically I still have a bit of a chance. These women will literally throw away their entire futures to try and get with men that they are highly attracted to, guys. It is astounding. And even though all of the flags are there saying that the guy's probably not going to commit, even if he says that he's potentially interested in doing so, the girls will go out here and chase that said man. And guys, I do not sympathize with the women who do that. Absolutely not. People, like, the victim card is pulled every single time. Like, man, I thought he was going to commit to me. You know, he said he was going to commit to me. That's like me going out here, and I've used this analogy multiple times, guys, but that's like me flexing with the Lambo, okay? Getting with girls who are clearly interested in me because of my Lambo that I post on, I don't know, Instagram or some bullcrap like that. And then I'm complaining, I'm like, man, I thought she was with me for me, you know, but it turns out she was just with me for the Lamborghini. She was just with me for the money. Of course she was. You don't get to play the victim card. At the end of the day, it's actually a naivety card, if anything. But let's keep going here. You know, we got the photo of them side by side. You know, Johnny Depp, you know, dressed up as ever, looking fashionable. He's got a very interesting fashion taste, this man. Like, I'm pretty sure during his court proceedings, yeah, look, he's got he's always wearing rings, always something, you know, quite extravagant. Very interesting dude, to be honest. There was no professional obligation for her being there. It was personal, the source tells us, adding that the duo discreetly met up in hotels during the early stages of their romance. The insider notes that Rich was married when she met Depp, but is now divorcing her husband. She and her estranged spouse share 2 children. 2 children. Okay, and look at that, guys. What do you bet, by the way, that the lines were blurred before? Like, what happened was she met Depp, something probably happened, and then she tries to go ahead with the divorce proceedings, or the dude found out something questionable, guys. Like, I refuse to believe when we come across situations like these, or oftentimes Reddit stories that we cover here on the channel, I'll see stories from dudes and they'll be like, man, my girlfriend, she moved on so quickly. number one, she already had that dude lined up to begin with. She already had Johnny Depp in her sights. Number two, something probably happened while you two were together. And a lot of guys will say, oh, you know, I had to cut it off and blah, blah, blah. Things were just getting bad. Oftentimes, women will manufacture arguments so that they can so that the relationship can be ended without them actually looking like they're guilty of anything. I refuse to believe, guys, like, this woman probably did something or hooked up with Johnny, and then the divorce proceedings began. You know, because that's always the way things go. A lot of these girls will try and have their cake and eat it too. They'll try and hang on to their family for a little bit before they run off with the dude. See if they can have both at the same time. Let's continue here. During his defamation trial against Heard, rumors swelled that the Hollywood Vampires musician was dating a different lawyer, Camille Vasquez, who was one of the attorneys representing him in that case. The Southwestern Law School graduate 38 later slammed the sexist speculation about her relationship with Depp. I wonder if this one sounds like a womanist, to be honest with you. Like, imagine you come out here and you're like, hey, I think you two are hooking up. And then she's like, no. And not only am I saying no, but it's actually sexist that you make those allegations against me. Because, of course, guys, if you criticize women for anything, it's apparently on the basis of gender. Very interesting. It's also an unethical charge to be made, Vasquez told People in June. It's unfortunate and it's disappointing, but at the same time, it kind of comes with the territory. I can't say that I was all that surprised. Depp and Heard's marriage, which ended in 2017, was the subject of two separate lawsuits filed by the Secret Window actor. The Kentucky native first sued the Sun in June 2018 after the newspaper referred to him as a wife-beater in an article about his involvement in the Fantastic Beasts film series. But which, by the way, they probably ruined this series by having Johnny Depp out of it. I believe he was removed, or he's no longer in this anymore. And I think from memory, he was actually the villain in this in this particular series. Which, again, why on earth you would remove Johnny Depp from your films based on allegations is an absolutely astounding and incredibly stupid thing to do, in my view, guys. Like, well, this guy literally carries entire films by himself, and you're just going to remove him based on allegations. And this is how far we've come in society, guys. You know, people will say, why aren't men approaching me? Or like, girls, I've literally seen so many TikToks at this point of women complaining, you know, why don't guys approach us at bars anymore? You know, why don't dudes come up and actually strike up conversations with us? Where is all the chivalry gone? You know, why aren't men asking us out on dates? And oftentimes it's actually a dangerous thing for men to do. Because these days, if you ask a girl out and she says no, she can call you a creep, and before you know it, all of these allegations are coming forward from women, okay, which people take as fact. Even if they're disproven, by the way, you'll still have a sizable portion of people who will think that you are guilty, okay? And oftentimes you can't prove these things, and it's a complete stain on a guy's entire life. I think there was actually a guy who I saw a couple of stories floating around where a guy unalived himself recently because he was accused of doing things with children when he wasn't. And it's just an incredibly sad story. But this is one of the reasons why dudes just don't approach women, by the way. Like, it's incredibly obvious because dudes can get accused for this crap, and before you know it, their entire lives are ruined. But guys, speaking of lives being ruined, I kind of wanted to tie this into a little bit of a Reddit story, and then we're going to wrap up today's episode. So you've seen it here. The thing seems to have fizzled out. Mr. The lawyer ditched her husband, ditched her kids to have a shot with Johnny, and lo and behold, things just aren't working out. Now, I wanted to direct your guys' attention to Reddit stories like these. Now, as you can see, this was posted literally only 16 hours ago in the r/dating over 30 subreddit. And this is a subreddit, guys, and I'm drawing our attention to because it just shows how little women understand their actual position, okay? As they get older, what they'll do, so around, 29 to, I would say, like, 27 to 32, 27 to 31, women really try and rush out and have a family, okay? So a lot of these girls who want to put their careers first, like the attorney that we covered in this particular story, chances are she started her family around this point because she wanted to focus on her career. But then once she has those things, you know, the house, the husband, the kids, well, obviously it's time to go back out there and to try and find a guy who's of quote-unquote higher value than her husband. So check this out. We have a story here posted by an individual called Rollo Makoko here, who says, dating for the right reasons, question mark. It's been a year since I, a 29-year-old female, started dating again. And going into the new year, I want to make sure that I am doing this for the right reasons. Look at that, guys. Isn't it interesting how we bring up reasons, we bring up integrity, you know, dating with a purpose now that we're going into our 30s. The reason why I'm bringing this up, guys, in case it's a little bit unclear, is because this type of crap is cyclical. So chances are, this woman right here was in the same predicament as the woman in the Reddit story. Okay, and what she's done is she's gone out there, she's had her family, you know, at 29 or around that age, and she's like, man, I need my family, I need a date with a purpose. She goes out there, she gets these things, and then when everything's settled in, it's time to go and chase the bad boys, the movie actors, the famous dudes, the rappers again. So let's continue here. This woman has never been, she's 29 years of age, by the way, never been in a long-term relationship. Here is my short list of why I am dating. And of course, we have dot points as to why a woman is dating. Oh boy. I want to experience the feeling of being in love with someone who's also in love with me. Okay, so you've dated dudes who are not interested in you. Got it. I want to be seen. Look how all of these start with I want, by the way. Look at this. I want, I want, I want, I want, I want, and I'd like. That's insane. I want to be seen and known and know someone on a deep level. I want to share that deep understanding and the comfort that comes with it. I think I just threw up in my animated mouth reading that. I want someone to do fun things with who has time and availability. So basically someone who has money, who, you know, has his own business, who's probably automated things to the extent to which they can be, and who has the financial... What this essentially means is I want a guy who has money. That's what this means, who has time and availability. You only have time and availability if you're around... She's probably dating dudes who are like, you know, above her age. So you only have time and availability above that age if you have money. You see what I'm saying? I want a level of physical intimacy you can't have in friendships. I want to have someone who's my go-to person, and I'm their go-to person. Basically, I want to experience what it's like to sometimes be someone's priority. No, you don't. This is something hilarious, by the way, that a lot of women will say, I want to be the priority, but let me tell you something, guys. If you make women the priority in your life, you will pay the price for it. Girls will jump up and down and scream about how they want you to be their priority, and they want to be relied upon for your problems. You know, they want to be the ear, the shoulder for you to cry on, so to speak. But if you actually engage in these things, women are repulsed by this behavior. Absolutely repulsed by it. I'd like to eventually experience cohabitation, no, with someone because it sounds cute, and practically having a dual income seems like the only way to ever buy a home. Because it sounds cute. This woman wants to live with a man because it sounds cute. Let me tell you something, guys. I do not recommend here on this channel, okay? I cannot recommend in good conscience that men cohabitate with women, because what happens is you risk all of your assets, you risk so much by doing this. A lot of places will actually consider you by law to be married. It's called common law marriage. And if you're living with a girl for a long enough period of time, hey, say goodbye to your assets and any children that you two might potentially have, okay? But this girl's basically looking for a dude with money who's going to buy her a house. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic stuff here. What do you think? Is this healthy, or am I missing something? I'm worried that my reasons are too self-centered. You know what? Don't worry about a thing. Just keep going on the path that you're going, and we'll see how that ends up for you guys. A lot of these girls, truthfully, are just going to end up in... You know, even this woman here from this story, by the way, guys, it's like... Let me pull up a picture of her again, okay? This girl right here, you know, chances are she'll have her successful career. She'll have a few M's in the bank. Okay, she'll have her house. Maybe she'll take the husband for their house. In all likelihood, she will. But, you know, she'll have these things. But at the end of the day, what else really is there if you don't have your family and people who love you surrounding you? I mean, cats and boxed wine really only last so long. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments, guys. And also, if you are, again, quick announcement, if you are interested in becoming a content curator for the channel, guys, to help with video production, because truthfully, guys, I'm pulling out my animated hair looking through wilderness garbage every day. If you are interested in becoming someone who can curate content for the channel, make sure that you go and fill out this form. The link will be in the pinned comment below the video, guys. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check it out. But otherwise, guys, make sure that you take care of yourselves. Do not cohabitate with women. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.